Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So today I'm working in the bird journal. That's this one, and I've gotten my signatures. I've got 5 signatures. I've gotten those ready to go. And if you saw one of my last videos, I talked about how the kits, which I'll link all below, that I'm using. This is a design team project for Tracie Fox Creative, LoveJunkJournals on Etsy. Links below to all the kits I'm using. But what I did before I printed the kits, or the pages that I was using from the different kits, is switch them over in my computer to sepia and then printed them out so that we have all of these sort of brown, sepia tones. And the idea is that throughout the journal, the color that you see, or the pages, will be kind of all in those brown tones, except for maybe that one. But, very muted, kind of softer browns and lighter colors. But then the birds that are going to be on tags or on the pages and things like that throughout the journal will be where the color comes in. And this probably is not, this might be the best example. This is one tag that I've made. I've got a little bit of Wink Stella on that bird, and the color is right there on him. Now the other 2 tags I've made so far aren't as colorful, but I'm going to try to incorporate it that way, where my color and my pops of color really have to do with the birds. Hope that makes sense. And so, in the interest of using what you've got, I decided to pull out some of the rice papers that I have, and I'm going to attach them to tags and other papers and things like that, and then create journal cards and tags from those. And so I've got a little pile started here. You can see, here's one that's already done. This is rice paper that I've added to the back. I used liquid matte medium from Liquitex, laid that down on the base, put the rice paper on, dried it, cleaned it up, sanded the edges just a little bit, and now this is ready for me to start playing with. And I'm not sure which one I like better here, but I've got 2 birds, and this is what I'm talking about, where all the the color will come from. So what I'm doing now is I've just sort of matched up some of the images that I like with some different tags and bases and rice papers. And so this is an old tag. I think it's from a kit from Tim Holtz. Had it forever. Again, using up what you've got. And here's a little slip of rice paper that I'm going to put on top of that. And this text should come through a little bit and be like another layer in the background. And then I think this guy is what I'll use on top of that. Then this is another rice paper. Both of these, I think actually all 3 of these so far are from Stamperia. They have beautiful rice papers, and I kind of collect them, and I kind of need to start using them. So then I've got this. This is just on a regular craft stock tag that again, I've had in my stash. And then I think that bird combo will be beautiful. Here's more of the first one that I used. This is a wooden tag. And so I'm going to put more of that on there, and then one of these other guys will go on that. This one I already did. It's ready to start playing with. This was actually tissue paper. Let's see. Looks like, here's a piece of it. It's just tissue paper that was in something that I got, and I put it on a brown, kind of a cardstock, a brown textured paper. And you get those streams through there of the paper kind of coming through a little bit. This needs to be flattened out a little bit, but I really like this guy with this one, so I'm going to do something with that. And then I've got a piece of that. This is the paper. This is like a handmade sort of a watercolor paper that I like using. And this is just a scrap piece I have here, scrap piece of some rice paper. I'm going to glue that down and see kind of what effect I get with this color coming through, and maybe do a journaling card with that. Don't know yet which bird would go on that, but I want to play with that a little bit to see what the colors end up being. So next step is to do more of the gluing like I've done on these, and get these bases ready to go. And so the way I do that, this is probably a good example. Let me get this tag off of here. The way I do that is just, I don't know if there's a front or back to this. Let's put this like that. I just take my liquid matte medium, drop a little bit on there, and I just have a sponge that I just kind of move it around with. You could use it, obviously you could use a brush too. Get it wet, and then I'm just gonna drop this on there. I like this bottom corner, so I wanna make sure I get some of that on there. And I wanna go off the edge just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm gonna pounce some more liquid on top of that. It doesn't have to be thick. You just want to be careful not to pounce too hard, which I tend to do, and rip the tissue. Then what I usually do is just get rid of some of it. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can kind of just pull and sand on the edge a little bit to get that extra off of there. Or you can actually, if you're brave and adventurous, you can light it and it'll burn just that edge, and it'll stop when it gets to the base, or the wood in this case. This stinks a little, so if you're going to do this, be in a well-ventilated and safe area, have water nearby. And then you just kind of can brush off the extra. You just sand down your edges like this, and they'll come right off. You can just pull them right off from there. My sandpaper is needing to be replaced here. There we go. Popped right off, okay? And then what I do is go in and sand just a little bit further. And this isn't sopping wet, but it probably would sand better if it were wet, or dry, I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to sand down. I want some of that extra to come off. Get that worn look on there. There we go. And that one is pretty much ready to go. I'll poke the hole through later, but there we go. That one's done and ready. And now what I think I may do that was a little bit. Okay. So get that out of the way. So that one's ready to go. We'll set that down. And I think one of these birds will go on here and one on here. Just don't know which is which yet. I kind of like him on there. And I really like him on there. So we'll set those because that's the same rice paper in the background. Okay, the next one I want to do is this one. And I won't try to burn the place down. Okay, the next one I want to do is this one. Now this is a pretty thin craft stock, so it is going to curl up on me, but that's okay. We can flatten it down later. And same thing, I'm just gonna move this around to get it wet. Make sure I've got the whole thing covered. And it's all wet. Yeah, see how it's curling up on me? That's okay. We'll get it flat later. Then I'm just going to lay this down. Kind of want to get that edge, so I'll lay it down about like that. Smooth it out. And now what I can do is dry it. Oh, wait, before I do that, let's pounce some matte medium on the top. Get this out of the way. You can use a brush too to do this. For the top portion, I typically don't use a brush because I don't want the stroke marks. So pouncing like this with a sponge gives you a little bit of a stippled texture without the brush marks. Okay. That's good. And now I'm going to dry it. Okay, and that one is ready to go. So these are just the bases that I'm creating. I think that'll be really pretty on there. Okay, that one's ready. And we're going to do one more here. I think I want to get a little bit more of the darker color on this one, kind of like that. That will be pretty. So, same thing, liquid matte medium, take a sponge or a brush, get it nice and wet. I need a little bit more. That's kind of soaking in on that one. All right, and then I'm going to lay this down. I think we're going to go about right like that. And then get some on top. Don't know how much of the tag on the back side will come through. Yep, there is a little bit coming through. That's great. That's perfect. I like that. Okay. And then this guy, oh, I think that'll look good. Yeah. Okay. So, one more I want to try, and I don't know if this one's going to work or not because of the different, you know, two completely different types of paper. But, oops, there's a fiber there. I'm just gonna, oops, that was probably way too much, but that's all right. It's gonna absorb, so. I'm just gonna blast it. And then set this down. About like coming about right there, maybe. Yeah. Okay, now I've got the brush strokes, right? So now I'm going to go in and pounce on it. Just randomly all over the place, and that gets rid of my brush strokes. There are other ways, you know, other ways that you can get rid of your brush marks, but this is just one of them. Okay, now I'm going to dry that. I like that. That actually turned out really nice. You can kind of see this color coming through, you know, in a lot of these spots. That's really nice. So I could probably get 2 cards out of this, I think, but I don't know yet which birds I'm going to use. So I'm going to let that, I'm going to set this one aside. clean up a little bit of my mess here. Not all of it, just a little. That's good enough. And so now I'm ready to start playing with what to do with these backgrounds. And I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I will kind of work on a couple and play a little bit, cut these out further. I think that's the first step, honestly, and then go from there. So I will be back. Okay, I'm back and I've got things ready to start playing with. So let's see. I've got 7. I won't get them all done now, but I'll show you what I've done so far. So this is the bird within the snow. Isn't he gorgeous? And I've just backed him to some bluish Tim Holtz stock. And here's my base for this one. And so on this one, I know what I want to do is I want to come in here, put this together and add some snow. So in texture. This one I pulled another piece from one of Tracie's kits. And just to give it that extra little pop of color there. And I'm going to put that on there, something like that. Don't know what else I'm going to do to that, but that's that. This little guy, I've got him inked up and ready to go, and he'll go on there. Let's see, here's the cardinal, and I've got this inked up and ready to go. Don't know what else I'm going to do here. Got to think about that. Don't know what else I'm going to do to any of them, really. This is all inked up and curled up and grunged up, and you can see, here's the back of the card, and you can see some of that through there. So that turned out nice. So that's ready to start playing with. And then I have another one of the florals pulled from Tracie's kits, and this is just cut to a card stock. And this little guy I think looks marvelous on here. So that's there. And then over here I didn't cut this off yet because I didn't know if I wanted to keep, that's just the deckled edge of the paper. So I wasn't sure yet what I wanted to do there, but I've got this little guy pulled out that I think will look marvelous, and a couple of the pieces I may play with to go with that. So all of that said, I'm just going to play here for a few minutes and see how far I can get, and then I'll finish the rest off camera and surprise you with what I've got. All right, I'm going to put this on here and then trim this off a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and put this flat. So I think I'll just use Fabri-Tac. All right, now I've taken quite a bit of that background off of there, but I think that's okay. You can still see it. It still works. Oops, dropping things over here. Still does what I want it to do. And now what I want to do. So I've got, this is Liquitex White Opaque Flakes. So I think this will be perfect for snow, and it's still good. And let's see, just a little palette knife here. And then I'm just going to add this. I'm kind of just going to add this to places where there is already some snow, like that. Okay, we're going to let that dry. I'm going to drop this down here. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And I think on the circle, I think I'm going to do some clear embossing. Perhaps let's use Seth Apter's vintage beeswax on that. I like that. All right, let's glue him on. So this is neat. This has a bunch of textures on it then. You've got this back texture where the rice paper has, you know, you can feel the texture of the rice paper. And then you have the smooth matte feel of the paper from where the flowers are. And then you have the gloss where the vintage beeswax, is on the little disc. So let's round these corners to match. Kind of thick. And that's ready to go. I think this one just maybe doesn't have a whole lot added to it. I think some cheesecloth under that might be nice. I'm gonna get that hole poked. I may back this one too. I'm not sure what I would back it on. Perhaps this is some of that paper left over that is the leather texture paper that I colored, inked and colored. Ooh, that might be pretty fun to get a little bit of that on there. Give it another layer. Let's do it. I'm going to put that on there pretty much just exactly the way it is. I'll go ahead and I'll poke the hole once I get it all put together. Oh, well, okay, that's all right. Didn't think that through. Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. You get to see them all. So let's see how we can fix this. Let's first of all decide how much I hate that. That's actually not that bad. With the piece up here, that's not going to be too bad. Let's round those corners. Okay. All right, see what I did? When I used the credit card, I wasn't paying any attention to the piece that's on here, and I just didn't get the same distance on there. But that might be okay. I don't know if it's going to look horrible. We'll find out. Let me go ahead and finish it, and then I'll decide. So this card underneath, or the card on top, already had a hole. I've got it covered with the rice paper, but I can see where the indent is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that popped all the way through. That's about right. And this is one where I love using rusty washers as hole reinforcers. And on a piece like this, I think it'll look really good. So, but before I do that, actually, no, let's go ahead and get that. Let's do that first. I have a bucket of washers here. And I don't know if I want a little one or a bigger one. Let's see. Here's kind of a medium-sized one. That might be perfect. That might be perfect. Let's see. This one's a little thinner, I think. Maybe not so much, a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Let's see, do I have any little ones? I think I've used most of my little ones. I don't like that one as well. Isn't it funny how I have, different opinions about different washers? Here's a little one. That's not so bad. Here's a real thin one. Oh, I think it's the same as that one. Oh, I like that one. Okay, let's use that one. Or, let's see, let's go the opposite direction. What does it look like if I put a fairly big one on here? That might be too big. Oh, I like them both for different reasons. I'm gonna stick with this one. Okay. Actually, while I have this open, there's one over here that needs to get put away. Okay. now, before I start gluing anything down, I want to decide whether or not there's anything else I want to do to this. Yeah, the little boo-boo's not so bad. It doesn't bother me terribly. But I feel like I need something else going on somewhere. Just not sure what that is yet. So I'm gonna set this aside just for a minute while I think on it. Okay, let's move on to, oh, maybe it's, wait a minute, I got an idea. Maybe this just needs some cheesecloth. What about, is this too, this is a kind of an ochre colored cheesecloth. I'm wondering, with white threads in it, if that's too much. I kind of like it. Okay, let's chop up some cheesecloth and throw in there. I'm thinking perhaps a little bit of fiber on here to go with this. Let's cut this down. What if it's got some fiber on it? Yeah, it's a little big though, so just a little piece here, just to kind of add to the story. But you know what, I could do something like that to help distract from, oh, let's do, all right. I'm gonna distract from the fact that I cut that corner funky. Yeah, I'm gonna put that right there. It's already got a fairly straight edge. So I'm just gonna pop that on there. Hold that down. Okay. Yeah. Now it looks more intentional. See, don't worry about mistakes, just cover them. Now I still have this side, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me as much. I'm gonna use the Versaclear in Fallen Leaves. And I'm just going to get some ink on here. And let's see, where am I gonna, I'm gonna put some here. Yeah, that's nice. And let's put some down here. And how's about, let's see, should I turn that over maybe? And let's put some right in that little spot right there. Yep, I like that. And one more little dab will do ya, right up there at the top. And right here. Okay, ooh, see, I like that. And this is a really, really dark brown, almost black. It's so dark. I really like the color. It's called Fallen Leaves. So I'm going to wipe that up a little. And I got a mess here. Maybe that's enough. Let's see. I do like that between the lines there. I just wonder if I shouldn't have a little tiny bit. I wiped it off already, but I just wonder if I shouldn't have a little tiny bit on a little tiny bit, so much so I'm going to, let me see, I'm going to stamp this off. Here's a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to stamp it off and then put a little tiny bit right here. Like that. Oh, yeah. Yes, I think that works. Okay. But I don't need anything on him. So let me wipe this off again. I'm going to put this here. That much I know. You know what I want to do on this one is I want to put, now that I did that, I probably should have done the stamping. I want to put some texture paste on this one. I have, and I've only used this, I think, once or twice. I have this Jewel Effects paste from Prima Marketing, sorry. And this is Tiger's Eye Stones. And it's a copper, there you go. I think that'll be really pretty. We'll find out, right? So let me set this aside. And I'm just going to do a little bit, I think. Let's see. I'm going to kind of go right down that line. It's really pretty. I should use it more often, right? Use your stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing really this whole year. I'm going to try to limit my spending. Try, I say, being the key word there. But, you know, unless something just really, really, really motivates me, or I see it and immediately I get an idea for, you know, a journal or a journal I'm working on or one I've got in the works or something like that, I'm going to try to avoid purchases other than replenishment of supplies. You always have to do that, or I do anyway. And just really focus on using a lot of what I've already got before some of it goes bad, isn't it? It relates to the media, the mixed media mediums. They don't last forever, but really everything. I probably will not go to too many estate sales this year. I'm going to limit that as well. And I'll probably have a D-stash or two. Bonus for you. Getting rid of, cleaning out, toning down, and just really making sure that whatever I have and use, I absolutely love. It makes me smile. Okay, here we go. All right, so I think where I've got that sitting is perfect. Actually, I'm going to come over just a little bit. Let's do it sort of straight, about like that. And I'm going to just swipe down that edge. All the way down. And I'm making a mess as I go. Okay, I think that should do it. Yeah, that's really pretty. All right, let me get this out of the way. I don't have any place to put it. Wipe this up. And I'm going to wipe that. There we go. Oh, I like that. That's kind of a neat, you know, color to go with the background. I think that's kind of fun. Okay, let me wipe a little bit more of this off my hands. And we'll let that dry. And I think this can go here. Yep, that's pretty. And what kind of paper is this? This is just a regular, just a tan colored cardstock. So I'm gonna glue that on. And this is one where, let's see, let's not glue that on yet. Hold on. This is one where I think, yeah, I want to raise him up. I definitely want to raise him up. So let's get some, I've got some cardboard here. Probably should have sewn around that too. That would have been a nice little added touch, but that's okay. That's going to go on there about like that. Got my Wink Stella on there, and then I'm going to put this big guy on here. But before I do, I want to put some paper fasteners. I've gone this whole video and haven't used a paper fastener yet. So I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to pull out the pliers and just clamp it down. Actually, I'm going to put two side by side right up there. I think that'll be fun. Do the same thing. I'm just going to clamp it down. You don't have to have pliers to clamp it down, but my fingers just don't like it when I do it. Okay, that goes there. And then that goes there. Yeah, that'll add just a little bit of interest to that piece, and we'll come in here about like that. And I think that's cute. But you know what I do want on this? I want a little bit of fiber. I've got this, and it's a lighter color. I think this might be kind of fun. Let's see if I can tear some of that off. And perhaps, so it looks a little bit like, you know, like his cage, and it's the right color. Oh, I do. Ooh, yep, I like it. Okay. I just got a little excited. All right, okay. Then I will squish that down on top of that fiber. Oh, I really like that. I like the way that turned out. That might be one of my faves. Okay, I think I just want to do a little bit of inking on the outside edge of this one. The dark. Let's go dark. Going dark. Just to finish that off. And it's funny, when I started this morning, I had no idea what I was going to do. So these things just work themselves out, right? You just play. Let the paper or the technique or the, you know, in this case, the prints, let them tell you what they want to be. Okay, I like it. All right, that one's done. That one's completely done. Ready to go in the book. I just need to put something in the top. Okay, let's regroup here. Where are we? This, oh, that's dry, or dry enough for me to start playing with a little bit. Now let me come back over here where I was before. And I think maybe this little guy needs to be raised up a little bit too. So let's get some more of that same cardboard. What did I do with it? I just had, okay, let's take a look at what we accomplished and what I didn't accomplish, but I do have an idea is forming on this other one over here. So let me finish drying this real quick. Okay, let's take a look and see what we accomplished. So I've got 5 done. This is the snowflakes. I added some paper fasteners in silver. Went one in one direction, one in the other, and here's the back. It's a little messy, but it's fine. Put a fatter eyelet up here at the top. And this is not quite dry yet. That'll get a little more translucent sort of as it goes. But there's our snow. Let me get you nice and close. You can see, I think, you can see the texture on there. So I like the way that turned out. Then this is the one that we're this is just going to be a card, journal card. I might put some ledger paper on the back here so there's lines. But that's the vintage beeswax on there, and it's got a nice little texture. And I like the way that one turned out as well. So that's that one. Then here, this might be my favorite. I don't know. Tough call. But I just really, really liked this added surprise down here at the bottom. I've got the paper fasteners on here. He's raised, and then the cardinal also has Wink of Stella on top of him. Then here's the, this is the rice paper in the background for those of you who have stuck along, and I need to put some things in the top. Then this one also I really like, a lot going on. This is through a stencil. This is the Jewel Effects paste from Prima Marketing in Tiger's Eye, I think it's called. And I just am happy with that overall as well. And then on the back of it, I just backed it with some of this. It's the same cardstock that happened to be sitting on my desk. I had some left over, obviously, so I just backed it with that. Nice and light colored. And then that leaves, I think, this one. And this is just some leather texture paper from Ranger that I've just previously, prior to this, add some color. I have to back this one still. But I don't, I'll be able to poke that hole in there. So I just still have to back this one with something, probably ledger paper, so that it can be written on. And then this has Wink of Stella on the birds also. There you go. You can kind of see a little bit. The washer up at the top, some of this fiber here, and along with the cheesecloth, just added on there. Oops. And now it's sticking up. There it goes. And then that fiber paper was put on a tag that already had some print on it. So that print is sort of showing through down here, which is nice as well. So 5 tags done. I think they're all very different, but yet, they kind of go in the same family. And they'll be used in the journal in various places. Now, I had mentioned that real quick before we say goodbye. I'd mentioned that I'd already done some tags. I can't remember if I showed these at the beginning of the video or not, but here's this one. And so these two are very similarly connected, very similar, different, but same basic idea. Then this one is very similar to with the textured paper. That's got some wax paste on it. And then this one is not really like any of the others. It goes with them, I think. But this is just a little square and with a corner tag. So there's 3 plus the 5 is 8. I've got 2 more to do. That's 10. Those 10 will be used throughout the 5 signatures in the journal. So, and then I'm going to do something to the signature toppers. First page of the signatures. I'm going to create some toppers, I think, for the signatures. And then that journal will be ready to get some pockets in. And so in signatures, so we are in a really, really good spot on that. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this video ends up not being too terribly long, but I do appreciate it. Your support is always appreciated, and I'll be back. Bye-bye.